Hello guys, welcome to Prominent Education. In this video we will discuss the most important common error questions, and this is video number 1. These questions are very important because these all questions are previously asked questions, and when we talk about previously asked questions they become very important. Previously asked questions give you a fair idea of that what kind of question are going to be asked in your examination. So previously asked questions become very important, and what we generally see, sometimes these previously asked questions are directly dumped into your next exams. So this way also it becomes very important. So I suggest you guys to pay special care, because you can expect 2 to 3 questions directly dumped into your examinations. So now let's start this video. Our first question is, some serious complaints of theft have been made against the new manager and they needs to be looked into seriously by the management. Whenever you are attempting a spotting error questions, the most important thing is to locate the subject. You should be able to locate the subject of the statement. So when you look at part A, some serious complaints is the subject of this statement, and complaints here is plural, so the subject is plural. And when we talk about subject verb agreement, your verb should always agree with the subject. Means if your subject is singular, the verb use should always be in singular, and when we talk about a plural subject, the verb use should always be in plural. So now when you look at part B, have been made against the new manager. Have been here also plural, which is agreeing with the plural verb, so this is correct. Now when we look at part C, they needs to be looked into seriously by the management. Now when you look at part C, needs here written, whenever you add s or es to any verb it becomes singular. This is opposite of noun. When you add s or es to noun it becomes plural, but when you add s or es to any verb it becomes singular. So needs here is singular, which has to be plural to agree with your subject. So needs here is wrong. So there is an error in part C section. So the answer of this question is part C. Now moving on to the next question. Artificially sweetened drinks poses a serious health threat to children. When you will look at the sentence, spot the subject of the statement. So artificially sweetened drinks. Sweetened drinks is the subject of the statement. Drinks here is plural, so again your subject is plural. So the helping verb that would come should always be plural to have a correct sentence. Now when you look at part B, poses a serious health. I have previously told you, whenever you add s or es to any verb it becomes singular. So pose is plural, and when you add s to it it becomes singular. So to agree with the subject, the verb use should be plural. This is singular, so this is wrong. So this is part B is having error. So the answer of this question is part B. Now moving on to our next question. Every one of the films you suggested are not worth seeing. Every one of the films you suggested are not worth seeing. Now when you will look at the sentence, try to spot the subject. Now everyone is the subject of your statement, which is singular because one is singular. Because of this one, your subject is singular. So to agree with the subject, your verb used should be singular. So now let's look at the rest of the part. This part A contains no error. You suggested is also correct, no error. When you look at part C, are not worth saying. Your subject is singular, so the verb used should be singular. This are is plural here, which is wrong, so this statement is wrong. So C part contains an error, so the answer of this question is part C. Now moving on to our next question. The teacher as well as his students are injured in the accident which occurred last night near the bus stand. Now let me tell you one thing. Whenever you have as well as structure, as well as joins two noun, the first noun here is teacher, the second noun here is students. Now whenever you have as well as structure, the verb used should always agree with the first subject, which is before as well as. So the verb used would be according to your first noun, which is here teacher and which is singular. So the verb used should be singular. Now look at the rest of the sentence. His students are injured is written. I have already told you the subject is singular, so the verb used should be singular. Here are is wrong because it is plural. So the part A contains the error, so my answer is part A. Now moving on to our next question. The request of the students union that their fees should be decreased were supported by majority. Now when you look at the sentence, try to spot the subject. Now request here is the subject of the statement and request is singular, so the verb used would be singular. Now look at the rest of the sentence. This part has no error. That their fees should be decreased. This part is also has no error because we have used there. There is used for students union. And now were supported by majority. I have told you the subject is singular, so the verb used should be singular. Verb here is plural. Were that you have used here is plural, which is wrong. So your part C contains the error, so answer of this question is part C. Now moving on to the next question. The secretary and the principal of this college are attending the district development council meeting at collectorate. Now I want to tell you the most important rule. The rule is with article. The most important rule is one person always gets only and only one article. It means one person, one article is your rule. One person, one article is your rule. So now the secretary and principal, if you will try to locate the article, here only the is your definite article, only one article is here present, so it means the secretary and principal are not two person but only single person, because you can see only a single article. So the secretary and principal being the same person means it is singular. So the statement, according to statement, the subject of your statement is singular, so the verb that you will use would be singular. When you look at part B, are attending is written, so instead of are here is wrong because your subject is singular, so verb should always be singular. This is wrong here, so part B contains error, means there is error in part B. Always remember one person, one article, and the number of articles denote the number of persons. Now moving on to our next question. The actress said in an interview that she find it difficult to meet everyone's expectations, so she has decided to choose roles completely by herself. Try to read the entire sentence once. Now let's locate the error. First we will locate the subject. The actress said. Actress said means actress is the subject of your statement. Actress here is singular, so the helping verb that you will use would be singular. So now the actress said in an interview that she find it difficult to meet everyone's expectation. I have previously told you a noun, a verb is born plural. Born plural means when we talk about positive form of verb, it is always plural. When we talk about positive form of verb, it is always plural. We add s or es to make it singular. S or es needs to be make it singular. So now when you look at the verb, she find is your verb which is plural, because verbs are born plural. Since your subject here is singular, so you will have to make it singular, and what you will do, you add s or es to make it singular. So finds here is singular, so this sentence contains the error. So part B contains error, so the answer of this question is part B. Now moving on to the next question. The youth today are spending a lot of money on food, movies, mobiles and other luxury goods. Now let me tell you a rule. Whenever you have the plus adjective form, it is always plural and gets plural verb. So here you can see the youth, the plus youth is adjective here, so this is plural and gets a plural verb. So the subject of your statement is plural, it will get a plural helping verb. So now look at the sentence. The youth today are spending is written, which is plural, so it is correct. Are spending a lot of money, this first part has no error, it is absolutely correct. On food, movies and mobiles, which is also correct, and other luxury goods. Let me tell you a rule with others. Whenever you have others, the noun come always plural. The noun comes after it is always plural. Others, other luxury goods, which is in plural, which is absolutely correct. So all parts are correct, it contains no error, so the answer of this question is D, no error. Now let's move on to our next question. There is only one of his novels that are interesting. There is only one of his novels that are interesting. Now one of, here you will see first part B, one of is always followed with plural noun. So when you look at part B, novels here is plural, so this part is absolutely correct. Now you have used one here, so to satisfy one you need a singular helping verb, which is in part A. So there is only one of his novels, this is satisfy, this one is satisfy with this helping verb. Now what you see, whenever you use a relative pronoun here is that, so this that will represent your plural noun, that will represent your plural noun. So novels here is plural, so the helping verb used would be in plural. So for novels you have used are. I just tell you the trick to solve this question. Whenever you see such kind of a structure, always see this one is satisfied with your verb which is of in first part, and the verb that would come after the relative pronoun would be according to your plural noun which is plural. So this statement is absolutely correct. It has no error. Now let's move on to a next question. The team captain as well as his players is disappointed with the results. I have previously told you as well as connects to noun. Two noun here is team captain and players. These are two nouns, but the verb always follows the first noun which is before as well as. So before as well as is singular, so the helping verb used would be singular. Is here is single, so your sentence is absolutely correct. So this part also has no error. D, no error is the answer of this question. Now let's move on to our next question. Knowledge of at least 2 languages are required to pass the examination. Try to locate the subject of the statement. Now knowledge is the subject of your statement which is singular. So the helping verb used should always be singular. Now let's see the rest of the sentence. Knowledge of at least 2 languages. Absolutely correct. Both parts are individually correct. Are required to pass the examination. I have told you your subject is singular. The verb used should always be singular. Are here is plural, which is wrong. So part C contains error. So the answer is of this question is part C. Now let's move on to our next question. It is I who is to blame for this bad situation. Now when you look at the sentence, try to locate the subject. I here is the subject, and with I you use always am. So in place of is you will have to use am. So part B contains an error. It is I who am to blame for this situation is absolutely correct. So your part B contains an error, so the answer of this question is part B. Now let's move on to our next question. Neither she nor I am going to the festival. Now let's talk about neither and nor structure. Neither or nor comes to join two parts. Neither and nor comes to join two parts. So the subject or the nouns should always be 2 in number. Here you will see subject, 2 subjects are there, she and I. This is first rule. The next rule is the verb agrees with the subject which comes after nor. So after nor here you can see I is there. So the verb would be according to your subject which is after nor, which is I here. So I, with I have told you we use am in positive form or in present form. So am here is absolutely correct. So this statement is correct. This question contains no error. So the answer of this question is D. Now moving on to the next question. The government needs to provide facilities where scientists enjoy space and freedom to carry on their research. Whenever you have a structure like this, try to locate the subject first. Government, the government here is subject which is singular. Your government is singular, which needs singular helping verb. Needs here is singular, so this statement is absolutely correct. This part A is absolutely correct. Now let's move on to part B, where scientists enjoys space and freedom. When you will look at this sentence, scientist here is the another subject which is plural. So to satisfy plural subject, you need plural helping verb. Enjoys here is singular, which is wrong. In place of enjoys, you must use enjoy. So this part has an error. So the answer of this question is part B. Now moving on to our next question. People are all over the world needs to think what they can do to eradicate poverty and help the poor. Now try to locate the subject of the statement. People here is the subject, which is a group of people, and people here is the example of group collective noun. It is example of your group collective noun, which is always plural. So the subject of the statement is plural, which needs a plural helping verb. So now let's move on to part A. People all over the world is individually correct. Next, part B, needs to think what they can do. Now you will see needs here is singular, which has to be plural to agree with your subject. Needs here is wrong, so this part B contains an error. So the answer of this question is part B. Now next question. Patience as well as perseverance are necessary for success. Again, as well as structure, I have previously told you the verb should agree with the noun which comes before as well as. Patience here is singular, so it should be singular helping verb that should be used. Now look at part B. Are necessary is written. Are is wrong here because it is plural. To agree with subject, it must have singular. So this part contains error. The answer of this question is part B. Moving on to our next question. You and I am going to take part in the party with my friends tomorrow. Whenever you connect two things with and, two things connected with and always makes a plural structure. Two subjects, you and I, connected with and will make a plural subject. So the subject of this statement is plural, which needs plural helping verb to satisfy. Now am is used with only I, which is considered as singular. So the verb used should be plural. This statement is wrong. You and I are going to take part in the party would be correct. This part B contains error. So the answer of this question is part B. Now moving on to our next question. Mr. Singh says that there is many important details to finalize before the book gets printed. Try to locate the subject. Now the subject here is not Mr. Singh because the importance, the emphasis given to the other thing. Many important details is the subject. Important details is the subject, which is plural. We are talking about details. So the details is the subject, which is plural. So it would get a plural helping verb. Now after detecting the subject, now move on to part A. Mr. Singh says there is. Is here is wrong because it is singular. to agree with the subject is would it must have plural, which is wrong. So part A contains error. So answer of this question is part A. Now move on to our next question. His politics is not good. So we have advised that he should read Gandhi, Lenin and Karl Marx. Now when we talk about politics when we write like this, it contains s at the end, and because of this s it looks plural, but it is singular. Instead of having s at the end, it is singular, so it takes a singular helping verb. So the politics is the subject, which is singular, so it would take a singular helping verb. His politics is here is singular, which is absolutely correct. Rest of the parts are also individually correct, which gives you the answer of this question is as D, which means no error in the sentence. Now move on to our next question. The director at company would appreciate if readers would write to him about how did they feel while watching the online videos. This question requires special attention. Now when you will look at the end of the sentence, there is no question mark here. There is no question mark after videos. It means the statement is affirmative. This is an affirmative sentence, and whenever a subject is affirmative, you do not follow a question structure within the sentence. So if you look at part B, or I should say it is part C, when you will look at part C, how did they feel is the interrogative structure. You do not use interrogative structure within the sentence whenever the sentence is in affirmative. So how, instead of how did they feel, how they felt would be used, because you have to replace this interrogative structure into assertive. How they felt would be used. So the error in this question is in part C. So this is all from this video. I hope you guys have liked the video. If you guys have liked the video, please like, comment, share and subscribe. Thank you.